Hi, good evening. I'm going to be answering a couple questions that are for the 761 class that Dr. Rowanson is running. It's basically on referral assessment, MDTs, IEP planning, and such. I am currently a special education teacher in the Mineral Point Unified School District, so I get to roll with this a lot. I am in the middle school, so I don't see this quite as much, but I have had two IEPs that I have helped out with that are new to the system. So first off, referral and assessment. Basically, what rights do the parents have and what data is collected on the students. Parents have a lot of rights when it comes to their children because it's literally their children, and they are some of the biggest key components of all of these meetings because they are the ones that know their children best. So a couple of their rights are that they have to give consent before any testing is given on their child, and they need to receive prior notice to anybody meeting with their child about a referral or reevaluation. If they feel like these testing results are not accurate, they can always go and get a third party evaluation on their child. If this is done and it proves something, sometimes the school will pay for it. It all depends on how that works out, just kind of case by case. They also have access to every single record in their child's folder from past and present documents. And they can receive reimbursement fees from schooling of children if they are in a private school and because if their public school cannot, if their public school is not able to meet the requirements of the IEP or meet the needs of that student, the school will have to pay for that student to get alternative schooling. There are various other rights that parents have, but I think that these ones are specifically really important. It's important that parents know like the law of IDEA so that they can advocate for their student to get exactly what they need. Data that is collected on students during these assessments or reevaluation is based on the student's strengths and needs of the area that is in concern. So basically their strengths and weaknesses, what they are doing well and what they are not doing well, or what they need support within. The determination of eligibility, after completing all of these assessments, there is an MDT team that makes a couple decisions regarding the students on whether or not they are able for special education or not. The MDT is made up typically of their homeroom teacher, any person that does intervention with them, any person that pulls them out for any reason, plus the director or whoever gave the tests. In my school, it's usually the director. Whoever gave them the tests, and then the parents in that meeting. What information is provided to the special education? The first thing that this MDT does is they determine if there is a disability there to be eligible. So if there's any existing disability. The second thing they do is determine whether or not that disability is affecting the student's learning education. So if it's not, then you really don't have any avenues here. But if it is, from there they decide if the student will be eligible to receive special education services or not. So if this student's learning is being hindered due to what is happening, then a lot of the time they will be basically eligible for special education. The special education teacher is kind of looped in at this point in time. They kind of get a little background on the student, their strengths and weaknesses, what the team thinks that they should be qualified under, and then there is where this teacher starts looking to writing an IEP if everybody's in agreement that the student will be receiving services. So it just kind of is really important to have that working communication and open line of communication to hear them talk. Ooh, I'm getting close to 5 minutes. Program planning. So the MDT meeting, what is the name of the document, key elements, and role? The name of this document is an IEP, an individualized education program. It outlines the special education services that are going to be provided to that child, and it is a legal document once that is all submitted and everything. So legally, the school has to follow what is on there. The special education teacher is the one that writes the IEP and then holds everything in the IEP accountable for all students and the teachers that they deal with. And then the last thing is program implementation and monitoring. I guess I kind of just touched on that. What is this step designed to do, and how often is the program plan reviewed? What role does special education teacher have in this step? So special education teacher is a huge role. I'm going to go a little bit over. I'm so sorry, Dr. Robinson. So the special education teacher is to make sure that this IEP is followed by all staff and that it is understood of what is expected in the document. I'm very passionate about this because this is what this child needs and this child deserves. A lot of the times I do make children advocate for themselves because guess what? They're not always going to have somebody like me fighting in their corner, but they do need to have somebody like me fighting in their corner when they're learning to stand up for what they deserve. So this IEP is making sure that the teachers are, the general education teachers and special education teachers are meeting legal requirements that the student needs in their learning plan that is individual to them. An IEP needs to be reviewed annually and reevaluated every 3 years. The special educator's job is to make sure that the plan is being implemented and followed through in all settings that it is written for. So, for example, let's say my student, Sally Joe, is in a health class in 7th grade and she needs to do all of this work and she's filling out all these study guides, no problem. Sometimes notes are provided, depends on what's written in their IEP. Let's say that Sally doesn't need that, but she does need tests read aloud to her. So she doesn't need somebody in the classroom, but she does need, whenever a test is provided in that class, she does need to have accommodations provided, such as read aloud, quiet area, just kind of depending on what it says in her IEP. And that is that special education teacher's job, is to follow through and make sure that the general education teachers know that and she knows what she deserves too. Sorry I went a little bit over. I hope that you have a wonderful evening and I look forward to the rest of the class. Thank you. Bye.